Hello, folks. Welcome to another movie discussion, movie chat with Joe Mayo, Tim Allen, and Tom can't make it again. Tom is seeing a young lady, and because Tom only has certain days off, and that's why he's able to come on the show, certain nights off, that's why he's been on. But he has to budget his time a certain way right now. So there you go. We'll see how it goes in the future.
Good for him.
And we start out by saying hello. Well, 14 Man's not here yet. People like to include everybody. Look at who's on the screen at the time. So. All righty. James Farley, what's going on? Hello, Harold and Eddie. There's no 4D man here. What do you people do? Just copy paste from last week? I'm sure he'll be here soon. Jerry Carter.
They said hello to Tom too. So
anyway, wow, look at this. John Moreno's here early. So anyway, I'm going to put the link out and see if he can join us. Whenever you can, John, you're welcome. Just if you need more time to eat, that's fine. I don't know how long the show's going to run. I had it set for 7:30 at the latest, but we'll see how it goes. Anyway, Tim. So yes. I was wondering because lately we've been having a lot of people on, on the screen, so we haven't been able to get everything in. You know what I mean? Tim doesn't get enough credit. Oh, by the way, was it James? No, it was that guy Mick Jagger or whatever the hell his name was.
Jick Magger.
Jick Magger saying, "Oh, you're going on when Doc's going on." His time slot. I already talked about this. I'm not going through it again. Tom has got a new lady friend, and she's taking his time right now. He's devoting his time to seeing her. So we'll see how that goes. I want to join, but I'll be eating soon. Put it off! Don't eat. On Mondays, eat earlier.
Enjoy your dinner or lunch. He's in California. It could be lunch.
Oh, that's right.
California.
I can't remember. How you doing? Come on, man. You could wait for a little of that. Whatever. Do what you want to do. It's fine with me. I don't know where to begin with this, Tim. Look, I'm making an excuse that this has been which it has been a busy time where I'm thinking about Paul McCartney a lot because of his new album. I'm making a lot of videos, so I don't watch any movies. Unless you count Svengoolie. I watched Svengoolie, and a movie that I've seen numerous times was on there, and I watched it. And it's called Curse of the Demon, which is also known as Night of the Demon. The real title, it's an English movie. It's called Night of the Demon. It's from the 50s, I think 1957. And I don't know if you've ever seen that one, Tim. But that's a movie that you could watch. You probably would. You might enjoy it because it's not what you would think, but regardless of the title. Or maybe you don't like the way I describe it. It's considered one of the best of the 50s movies. I have to concur. It's got Dana Andrews in it. And he plays someone who's a psychologist and an author, and he doesn't believe in any kind of superstitions or occult or black magic or any of that stuff. So he goes to England because there's a cult leader, a satanic cult leader that he wants to expose as a charlatan. And this cult leader can conjure up, things, spells and demons and all this. It's a very intelligent movie, directed by Jacques Tourneur. Do I say that right? Mm-hmm. Who did other things like Cat People and stuff. Good director. And that's the gist of it, really. But the director did not want to show a monster, a demon. But the studio, I think, insisted on having a monster. Because you don't need one, really. It's only seen a couple of times for horror purposes. But It's when it's an intelligent movie. It's more of like, what you think is going to happen, kind of thing. And I think it's really brilliant. And I watched it again. Early dinner. It's an early dinner. Yeah, I don't think Tim eats.
I don't eat or drink on camera. I never have. I never will.
Betty Lane, what's going on? Now, why would you ask me this here? I swear, Eddie, you have to understand, I'm a little wound up before I came on here today. I don't want to take it out on anybody here. But I like Hosanna, the song off Paul McCartney's album, New. I do. Yes. And we're not talking about Paul McCartney here. I brought him up to tell you why I wasn't watching any movies. That's different. But I'm thinking what we're going to do is, it depends how it's going here. I was going to say maybe we should start having Tim's movies near the beginning, so we can have time later just to talk about all kinds of general stuff. All right, that's it. Two things. Number one, we're not talking about McCartney here. I don't know who this is. Wow. Wow. We're not talking about Beatles and McCartney here, James. This is movies. And the second thing is I made plenty of videos talking about what I thought of the album. I liked it a lot. I liked it a lot. Planet of the Vampires, yeah, it's not too good. Yeah, there's no vampires. It's just the title of it. I don't know why they make titles like that. Yeah. I think is that a Mario Bava movie? I think it is. What the hell? I watched a movie called Bare Knees, 1928, about flappers.
Cool.
Hello, Mike. Yep. And Night of the Demon is good. Love the monster effects, especially at the end. Yeah. Yeah, by the way, Jick Magger, don't tell me what time to go on ever, okay, or anything like that, or tell me I'm still. I just want you to know that as a rule, I try to honor people. If I know somebody has a regular slot like Doc, I usually I won't go on. The only way I do it, sometimes, unfortunately, if someone comes up like, I got to do a show. Sometimes it's Sundays. Sometimes it's 4. There's no other time, especially if the other guests can't make it any other time for doing guests. Last night, I was fishing for somebody, and that person, did not show up. I had to do a show at that time. Anyway, I apologize and explaining myself. The bottom line is that I try not to do that. I try to respect that the best I can, usually. When does Tim watch his movies? Late shows or more a midday showing?
I'm mostly watching when I eat dinner. I spend 2 hours on dinner and watch a movie. That's usually what I do.
Well, I've never seen this movie, I don't think.
It doesn't ring a bell to me.
It's a joke. Yeah, well, I take something seriously. Depends on my mood. Well, it's usually people joke, but they kind of mean it. They kind of mean it.
Yeah.
And going over there and telling Doc, hey Doc, Mayo's slot. There you go.
Yep, there you go. Yeah, I watched that a couple weeks ago, and I can't believe I'd never seen it. It took me that long to watch it.
Hello, Michael. All right, so it's Australian, the movie there, one where the dog gets hurt. I don't like them. I don't like when the dog gets hurt.
Okay.
It's very hard for me to come out with a favorite one. I always say Pulp Fiction. I love Pulp Fiction and I love Kill Bill. Kill Bill, the entire saga, meaning 1 and 2 together as one.
For me, Kill Bill 1. I can separate them. But yeah, Kill Bill 1.
Many a true word is spoken in jest. And now we have 4D Man lurking about. So I'm going to bring 4D Man up here. And he's wearing a Dungeon Lane shirt, which I don't have one yet.
But it was home to us.
Yeah. I actually ordered one. Well, my girlfriend ordered it for me. And I was looking to track it, see where it's at. Now, after all the Dungeon Lane stuff is, most of it is the load has been shot. Anyway, and I find out that the street address is wrong that she put on it. Isn't that nice? So hopefully they'll still be able to figure it out by the name and the zip code and everything. But whatever. So yeah, I got to keep on. I was doing quite a bit of screaming before, just moments before I came on here, so I have to soothe my throat. Personal domestic thing. Not really to do with my significant other, but anyway, all right, you're busy with McCartney. Tim doesn't go to movies. Tom is busy with the new girl. 4D Man doesn't go out of his house. Nobody saw new movies. There you go. That's interesting.
Well, if I had more than one theater that would show something besides Stolen Cars 10 or whatever that thing's called, or superhero movies. There's just nothing that I want to see comes anywhere near me.
There you go. Well, I'm thinking, why don't we start with Tim this time? Because lately, we've been getting into so many other things that I feel like I got to give Tim the rush later on.
Yeah.
So, what'd you see? You'll buy. You'll pick up.
Okay, well, I'll start with buy. I bought 5 and saw 5, but I can go through. I've never heard of this movie, but Hugh Laurie, believe it or not, is a very funny guy. So I want to see this. Oranges. No idea. Not a clue, but I've been into independent films lately. I'm trying to see more modern films. So I'm halfway through, by the way, with modern films. I try to see 100 a year. I just watched 50. It's number 50.
Whoa.
So I'm keeping up. So Oranges, I have no idea about that one. This is supposed to be great, and I can't believe I've never seen it. I Found Life is Beautiful. These were all too great.
I'll do whatever.
Yeah, I mean, this was supposed to be late 90s, I think, late 90s, I think. I think I was in London around the time that this came out. And this has just 2 of the best actors ever in it. I have no idea about it, but Savages with Philip Seymour Hoffman and Laura Linney. So how can it be bad with those 2 in it? So yeah. I don't know. Sam Mendes, A Simple Plan. Again, another movie I haven't seen, don't know, but Billy Bob Thornton, Bridget Fonda, and too bad Tom's not here because Bringing Out the Dead, Martin Scorsese, another film I haven't ever seen. That's what I picked up. Okay. Don't know what to say about them because I haven't seen any of them.
There'll be time for that.
Yep. And I don't have a lot to say about what I watched either, really. I watched a film noir comedy, which I don't ever think works, called The Corpse Came COD.
Well, that rings a bell.
It's about this famous actress who doesn't get along with the studio, and she's having a fight with her costume designer, and he sent some fabrics over, and she opens a box, and in addition to the fabrics, he's in it. But he's not very alive. And off you go. And it's one of these movies where you're supposed to figure out who did it, but you're not going to because it's a minor character that did it. I hate when they do that. What's the point of that? And then
so who's in it though? Who's in it though?
I don't even remember. I don't think it was anybody very famous, or I remember. I honestly don't remember, and I just saw it. Okay. But. Right. It's not what I would call a memorable film.
Okay.
And then I watched The Unknown, which
Cheney?
is a silent film.
Well, that's a good one.
With why can't I? Lon Chaney.
Yeah, I just said Cheney.
Hmm?
No, you don't got to listen to me. Got to listen to people too as you're talking. Yeah, I said Lon Chaney at one point.
Okay, yeah, and it's one of his later silent films, and he's in a circus and he's got no arms. At least that's what you think. And he's in love with, of course, the circus owner's daughter. Of course he is, because that's what you do in a circus movie. But she doesn't like men at all. And then there's the strong man that likes her. Anyway, it turns out he is a really awful guy. And she winds up liking the strong man after all. And he's got a little friend, and the little friend tells him that you can't ever have her, because as soon as she puts her arms around you, she's going to know that you actually have arms, because he does. And I won't give away the ending, but it's
I don't remember it. It's been a long time.
The ending is tragic. Let's put it that way, but he deserved it.
Well, you didn't mention Joan Crawford.
Yeah, Joan Crawford's in. I don't like Joan Crawford, to be honest. I've never liked her. I never thought she was attractive, even when she was young. She's just never been one of my favorites. So yeah, those are two I watched.
Directed by Todd Browning, did Dracula.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Directed by Todd Browning, which is why I watched it more than Chaney. And it is dark. It's as darker than some of his other films. It's a fairly dark film. I watched a 1967 comedy called Who's Minding the Mint, which I kind of enjoyed. It's just one of these screwball comedies about robbing the mint by printing up more money. That's how you rob a mint. You break in and you print up more money while nobody's away. And then so nobody knows they've been robbed, because you've made extra money. And everything that goes wrong could go wrong, and blah, blah, blah. And it's got some strange people in it. Like one of the major people in it's Milton Berle. But it is a good movie. I did enjoy it. I don't have a whole lot to say about it. And then I watched this movie, Dark Streets, which I picked up a couple weeks ago. And it wants to be a film noir, but it has one of the worst scripts I've ever come across. Nobody in it's very good. They made it on no money, and it's obvious. And it's got all this interesting music in it, but it's in the background for the most part. So it's just not, I can't really recommend this one. It's okay, but it could have been so much more, and it's not. So kind of a bust there. And then this was great. I watched Ford versus Ferrari. Mistitled, I think. It's really Ford versus Ford. Ferrari doesn't have that much to do with it, except Ford is going to buy Ferrari, and Ferrari basically laughs in Henry Ford Jr.'s face and calls him all kinds of names. So he decides that he's going to start a race team and beat Ferrari. That's what the film is about. But it's more about how the internal people try to screw with now I can't think of his name. The guy now Carroll Shelby. That's who Matt Damon plays, Carroll Shelby. And it's more about this guy doesn't like Carroll Shelby. So this major executive at Ford, so he puts a roadblock in everything he tries to do to beat Ferrari. And it's more about that than Ford versus Ferrari. But it was a very good movie. Too long, though, almost 2.5 hours.
In the old days, Paul Newman would have been in that, and I would have seen it for sure.
Yeah, yeah. No, this is good. This is Matt Damon's maybe best performance ever, in my opinion. But
I'm not
but
sure.
the
I'm
other,
not sure who he is.
oh, really? But
Yeah.
Christian Bale is the real standout here. He plays this driver that isn't what Ford would call one of their type of people. So they don't want him, but he's the only guy that can do it. And Matt Damon won't do it without him. So that's where the conflict comes in. And he's great. Christian Bale is absolutely great in this film. And definitely worth seeing. And that's what I watched this week.
Thank you very much, Tim. 4D, what's in the bottle?
Oh, the bottle. I thought you were going to say what was the incense, which I can definitely recommend. It's not just that it's sandalwood, but it's this particular brand which you can get on Amazon. They get it from India, but it's the perfume is so beautiful. So that's the incense. As for the bottle, this is 10.5%. I know it looks like milk, but it's not.
Yeah.
So there you go. And as for the poster,
I was going to say, didn't you want to talk about The Graduate or something this week?
No, it's just that I know that John wants to talk about The Graduate because he mentioned it last week. So whenever he's finished his dinner,
he wanted to. Okay.
Yeah, so he's going. So I thought I'd put The Graduate poster up. I've had that for so many years. It's a little bit damaged, which I don't know if you can see the damage.
No.
And I can't remember how much I picked it up for all those years ago, but I remember it was very cheap because of the little bits of damage. So there you go. That's just for John. But in terms of films,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of films, I still haven't seen anything. But I did buy something on the recommendation of Matt Williamson of Pop Goes the 60s.
Yes.
Okay. He showed this. It's the DVD special edition of the film.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can open it out and show you. I only bought it for one thing, but I can show you the rest of it.
That looks a little different from the one I have.
Okay. Inside, you get within this booklet you get these front of house sets from Help. I'll just show this isn't why I bought it, by the way. I'm just showing you it. I paid 40 quid for this secondhand. That's the cheapest I could find it. And I already have the Blu-ray, so I won't be playing the DVDs at all. So those are the front of house replicas that you get. Hang on, bear with me. Okay, I guess I could show you the booklet, but it'll be a drag trying to hold it. You know what booklets look like.
Yeah.
There's lots of photographs of the Beatles, basically. So there's the booklet as well. But the big deal, which is the only reason I bought it, is because it also contains this.
Oh, is that a script?
It's a script. It's beautifully bound in this authentic way.
Yeah.
And the reason I bought it is because straight away I'm looking for differences in the shooting script to what you see on film. And I haven't done my research properly for this program because I didn't watch Help again, and so I haven't seen Help for maybe 7 years or something like that. But I have made notes because I've noticed what you get on this. There's a little bit. That's what I hoped for. That you get scribblings out and and handwritten editions. I don't know whose copy of the script this was, whether it was Richard Lester's or whether it was one of the Beatles copies or one of the other actors in it. But it's authentic enough. But what really intrigues me is some of the deletions. I know you can't read it very well, but at the top you'll see that some bit of George's detail there about what George is doing has been scribbled out. And what George is doing, according to that, is reading the Wall Street Journal.
Okay.
And when you read through this script, there are numerous instances that have been cut out that are to do with George, and it's all to do with money. And it's pretty common knowledge that George was the most money-minded of all the Beatles.
This is true.
and so this script was written early 1965 by two guys, and I'm thinking, was it who cut out all the stuff with George's money? So I made a few notes, and if I can remember,
it's interesting because there are some lines in the movie that George says that are sort of money related that are in the film.
Well, right. So you might be able to tell me how much of this has been, when it's crossed out. You see, I'm assuming it's been deleted. There's one bit that is in it that isn't crossed out, where somebody mentions gold and George pricks his ears up and says gold, and then John Lennon says, "Doesn't take him long to poke his big neb in if you mention money." Now, apparently they've allowed that one to stand, but
I know that's not in the movie.
Oh, that's not in the movie?
No,
as well?
I don't remember it in the movie.
Oh, that's interesting because in this copy of the script, that bit hasn't been crossed out, but there are three other instances where money is mentioned in relation to George, including, let's see, I'll just give you one instance because it'll get boring if I go through. So that at the top, you'll see it's been crossed out anyway, even if you can't read it. The first paragraph. Okay, so it's a script direction, and it says, George looks away from the shop for an instant, and the price of the pair of boots he was looking at is changed to twice the amount, and in guineas. This he sees when he looks back, and he looks disgusted. So that's been crossed out,
right.
And I'm thinking, okay, who would be likely to cross it out? I don't think Richard Lester would, unless George himself has read it and taken an exception to how he's being teased about his money. But I think it's more likely to be Brian Epstein. I would have think he would have power of veto. And the other thing that's crossed out a lot in this is there's a villain called Professor Foote.
Yeah.
So he's the villain, and he's got a load of lines about trashing the British government.
Oh,
and they've all been deleted, the lot of them. So I'm thinking now, who's done that? It won't be any of the Beatles. It won't be Richard Lester, because he was quite a subversive fellow. I think it's got to be Brian Epstein, who's read through it and thought that's not going to do us any good when in terms of the Labour government being in power, and we've got people. And what it was slagging off was things like the reasons why a lot of Britons were emigrating. So there was this thing at the time called the brain drain in 1965. So if you watch the Ipcress File with Michael Caine, you'll hear about the brain drain.
And there is a reference to that in the finished film. He says it's the brain drain.
Right. And it was to do with the exodus of a lot of talent from the UK. It wasn't just an exodus to the east. It wasn't a Cold War thing. A lot of these guys were going to America. So it was more a criticism of Britain being part of Britain's decline since the decline of the British Empire. So there's a lot of this talk in Help that's been scribbled out to do with the criticism of the government making the country so unattractive that all the talent is leaving. This is in 1965, all been crossed out. So I'm just guessing, mind you, that was Brian Epstein. So this is the sole reason I spent £40 on the whole package, was just to get this. So there you go.
Well, it's interesting because I do love Help, and that's why there's no Beatle talk. It's like, yeah, well, of course I'm allowing it because it's about the film, it's about the movie,
right?
Help is a movie. Talk about movie.
I mean, it's a bad movie anyway.
I don't agree.
Even if you just read the script, halfway through it starts to feel like even the script writers just threw their hand in. It's got that same cursory lack of a cohesion in the plot, especially towards the last half, that you find in What's New Pussycat and Casino Royale, that were made around the same time, around 1965, where Americans were still occupying the British film industry and giving a lot of money to the UK and actually giving too much money. So what you were finding with films like What's New Pussycat is there's just too much fucking money, and they're just throwing everything at the camera that they can. And sometimes it's better if the budget is actually lower. And I think one of the problems with Help is there's just too much money.
To me, there's no problem with Help. The only problem with Help for me is that some people say it's not a Hard Day's Night. I think it's a lot of fun. It's a cartoon, wild James Bond type of. Not supposed to make too much sense. It's supposed to be a rollicking, fun time. I mean, I like it as that, you know. I mean, I don't think it's. I mean, cinematically, I don't say it's as good as Hard Day's Night.
Right.
Yeah, and but there are lines in there about. I noticed that even some lines that were left in there are a little bit about George talking about money. I mean, just like when Ringo can't get the ring off his finger or something, and one, I don't know, the George says something like, "Hey, there might be some insurance on it. You know, like they can get something out of it."
Right.
If they,
my main criticisms of it is that it's trying to be funny and it's not funny most of the time. And also, even though the Beatles wanted to go to the Bahamas, I think that idea is just so self-indulgent when actually the place where it was happening at that time was London. So as soon as they leave London, the film starts to fall down. They're moving away from what is a happening place. And so the film isn't happening. Just because they're stood on a beach strumming guitars doesn't make it particularly exciting. For
pretty girls do to me.
Yeah, but there are plenty of pretty girls in London too. As the
when people speak in fact, I got a problem. You know, your opinion, it's not very funny. It's not very good. It's kind of bad.
Yeah,
I think it's a good movie. Not great movie.
I hear you. I hear you.
But you know, that's the only thing. It's so how about Murder by Death that was checked out on Tim's recommendation, but I haven't seen it yet. Oh, there you go.
It's
all right. So
it's funny. It's really funny. It's a very good.
The other thing I noticed in the script was how much the plot dwelt on Ringo's vulnerability as the drummer. It's almost like it's invoking Pete Best. It's like there's scenes in it where Paul McCartney is saying, "Can I borrow your drums?" Because he's thinking, well, Ringo's expendable after all, and you know we can a bit like when Lennon said in Let It Be, you know, well, we can get Eric Clapton. It's almost like. And Ringo's so vulnerable that you know he's got lines like, "You didn't mean that, did you, Paul?" Where Paul's kind of implied that he's a little bit expendable. I'm thinking, wow, that's playing it close to the edge.
I don't know if that's in the movie though, is it? I mean, the finished film. You talking about the script or the finished film?
Well, I'm talking about the script because I can't remember in the film. All I can tell you, Joe, is that it's not been crossed out in the script.
Well, it doesn't matter because you named something that whatever the first one was that Tim and I didn't recognize from the movie. I know that I pretty much know the movie.
Right.
You're talking. This is the shooting script, so all the notes and stuff would have been done before or while they were shooting, and then it goes to editing. That script is thrown away pretty much at editing, and now they're going to edit the film the way they want to, and a lot's going to get cut.
Right.
That's just the way film.
I don't think that doesn't sound. Even the lines that are not crossed out don't seem very close to the finished film. I mean,
but if it's not crossed out, it means there's a chance that they filmed it. It doesn't mean that they did, but there's a chance that they did get filmed.
So that's what made it worthwhile. The difference, if the script was exactly verbatim as what you see in the film, it would be pointless to me to have bought it. But it's the differences that make it fascinating. So it makes me think, ooh, why did they take that out? And that's a bit close to the bone.
Yeah. It's a mystery that nobody well, somebody maybe one day will know, but not right now. I think Brian Epstein is a good guess for some of those.
I think so. I don't think much would have got past him at that point about what the image was that he wanted to present for the Beatles.
I haven't seen that movie. Anybody else?
Tom's
not here. Tom's seen a lot of movies.
1965 as well.
No.
It's an interesting year, 1965, especially for British films.
There you go. I've seen The Unknown. Really well done. And that's another thing. I remember there being some good effects in The Unknown. Camera work.
Yeah.
Something about that.
Cheney is armless most of the time, so he's doing everything with his feet like somebody that didn't have arms would, and that's hard to do. And he's lighting cigarettes and smoking and stuff with his feet. That's not easy to do.
Right.
I'd like to see the 4 movie hosts do a read through of the Help film script in Liverpudlian accents. Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Yes, well, it's true. Yeah, none of them liked it really. John called it crap. Said the director, Dick Lester forgot about who we were, what we were, and everything. I just think it's a lot of fun. I think Dick Lester preferred it to A Hard Day's Night, if I'm not mistaken.
I feel there's a distinct difference between American fans of the Beatles and British fans of the Beatles, and I think our perception of the Beatles is different. There you go.
Okay.
I think Help was a bit of that. It's like we need to make another movie. Well, you can go to. We've never been skiing. Let's go skiing. We've never been to the Bahamas. And okay, we'll make a movie around these. And that's never going to be, in my opinion, a great movie.
Right. Yeah.
Well, look it up. Most of the reviews say it's a good movie, not a great movie. Most people like the movie.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying it's terrible.
It's outlandish. It's supposed to be like a spy mystery, and not spy thriller and comedy and zany and Batman and all that kind of stuff. It's the first one was in black and white. Now we'll do it in color. Now we'll travel around different locations instead of just having it, in England and stuff. What can I tell? The songs are I love. Well, the songs are something else entirely. The songs.
I didn't remember that George Harrison has a shoplifting scene in it.
I'm trying to remember that in the jewelry store if he shoplifted anything. Maybe it's a subtle thing. I don't remember that. But I'm trying to think of the other money lines. I know he's got other slight money lines. He's always thinking about that a little bit.
Isn't it interesting though that even in 1965 they got wise to him being the one who was the most money at the Beatles?
Well, there was somebody. I mean, things stay in your head from a long time ago, and you don't even know what they were or who they were. Like I remember there was an interview with somebody who knew the Beatles in the 60s, some woman, and she said, "I remember, some like maybe Paul, I don't know who it was, practicing his autograph all the time." And I remember her saying, and George talking about money and being rich. I remember her saying that. So
I wonder what year that would have been, Joe. That article.
The early 60s, 63, 4.
Wow.
The ticker tape machine is
Joe, do you know where I think it would have started with George Harrison is when he realized the Lennon-McCartney combination was bringing in more money in royalties for them than any number of gigs they were doing as a group. I don't know when he twigged on that was the case, that royalties would cost, where the money was.
Yeah.
But I think that was probably when he started thinking maybe I should write some songs.
No, but the idea that from the interview that I heard was the idea of the aspiration, maybe even starting even earlier than that, maybe starting in the 1961, 62.
Wow.
Like that, 60. Like George, that's what they were aspiring to be famous, looking forward to being rich.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, they definitely wanted more money. That was Lennon said that probably around 1962 that they wanted more money, but the realization that the way to get it was through royalties from songwriting. I think even Lennon and McCartney didn't realize that until late 1962. I
until it was too late, really.
Yeah.
Spring Hill Jim is talking about the Graduate soundtrack, which I love Simon and Garfunkel. I love the music in the movie.
Yeah, and they dressed up some of the songs they'd previously done as well. Like I can't remember the title of it, but
Mrs. Robinson is different in it.
Yeah, and also
every song.
Politicians seem to put you down. It's got a real good electric guitar riff with it that didn't have it in the previous LP where it first debuted with Simon and Garfunkel.
And I think they. I mean, I like the movie, but I think Scarborough Fair is overdone in the movie. I think a lot. There's a lot of Scarborough Fair in it, which I love. That I love it. One of my favorite songs. But there's a lot of it instrumentals.
It feels to me, and this isn't a criticism because I like it, is that sometimes the plot stops and a sort of music video takes place, like Scarborough Fair or April Come She Will. Everything stops, and then you have this little music video. And I like the pacing of that. And the Scarborough Fair thing works for me because it's so poignant. You know, his yearning for the girl where he's just messed up the relationship.
Yeah.
He's trying to find her is so poignant to me that Scarborough Fair just hits the right note. So somehow I'll go with it for the whole like 3 minutes.
Yeah, they use it a lot in different top moments in it.
Yeah, they do. They do. Yeah.
You know, I mean, I love it. You know, but yeah, Roy Kinnear and Victor. I have to agree. You know, I thought they were very good in the movie together.
Yeah. And Lennon liked Victor Spinetti a lot. Yeah.
For 4D, do you remember Roy Kinnear as the nuisance neighbor in Robin's Nest? George.
I don't actually. I don't. I mean, I remember the television series you're talking about, but I don't remember Roy Kinnear being in it.
I got a question for you. Do you remember Roy Kinnear as a merchant who's traveling at the beginning of a certain Hammer film in a coach, and he stumbles upon, from the previous film, Christopher Lee dying from Dracula Has Risen from the Grave. The ending, I'm getting confusing here. The beginning of Taste the Blood of Dracula.
Yeah.
Taste the Blood of Dracula has Roy Kinnear as a merchant.
It's coming back to me.
It's at the end of the film before Christopher Lee as Dracula died, and he had a big giant crucifix stuck in the valley.
Yeah.
So they have this beginning of the next film. He kind of hears Dracula screaming, and all this, and he goes and he happens upon Dracula, and Dracula turns to ashes, and right, he takes his cloak, cape, and he also takes some of his blood, powdered. It was turns to powder.
So he does a Johnny Alucard, basically, doesn't he? In 1872.
Right, yeah, Johnny Alucard. Nobody knows what we're talking about unless you know these films. And you know, and then he sells it to Ralph Bates.
Right. It's coming back to
movie. A lot of people like Taste the Blood of Dracula because it's very, I don't use the word Victorian. I don't know. It's very old. It's a lot of good sets and everything.
Yeah. And just like with the old Universal monsters, I adore the continuity where they pick up where they left off like that. I think that, and the great thing about that Hammer did was they devised any number of ways to kill him off that was different. So they didn't just go with the same routine at the end. They try and work out some difference. And so I appreciate that creativity. Like in Prince of Darkness, him going under the ice. That was quite a creative thing to think of.
Yeah, that was different. Yeah, I'm just thinking like the Hammer Dracula, Christopher Lee was always kind of goofy. Like you always see these faces like things will happen, and stuff like that. And I always get a kick out of like in the last one, the Satanic Rites of Dracula. Lee was able to incorporate a line from the Stoker's novel because they wouldn't let it. They had him saying all these ridiculous things. He didn't want to talk. He didn't want to talk.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So Dracula, Prince of Darkness, he said nothing through the whole movie. He said they had written in the script that I say I am the apocalypse or something like that, and he said I would rather not say anything than to say lines like that. So he said he's mute in second film. But anyway, back to Satanic Rites of Dracula. So he was able to get some dialogue from Stoker in there. And that's a line at the end when he says, at the very end, he brags or boasts, my revenge has spread over centuries and has just begun, right? Because he's been alive for centuries, right? Then he proceeds to walk into a thorn bush and die. This guy's like alive for centuries and eons and everything. Nothing can destroy Dracula. and he's stupid enough to follow Van Helsing into a thorn bush and get tangled up in the thorn bush.
Well, just to clear up the Christopher Lee myth that he kept saying, and I've got this from all those Little Shop of Horrors that I've been reading with some really valuable archival interviews with people like Tony Hines, a producer at Hammer, and Jimmy Sangster, one of the main writers. Jimmy Sangster said he took offense that Christopher Lee said the script was so bad he'd rather say nothing. He took offense of that in Prince of Darkness, I think, and he said, I can tell you now there were no lines for Dracula, and if you look at the first Dracula, the lines for Dracula was in the establishing shots where he wasn't. He
doesn't talk much in there either.
Yeah, he wasn't seen to be a vampire yet. He was the host for Jonathan Harker, so he has dialogue. But the minute he becomes a bestial, animalistic vampire, dialogue goes out the window. And so every succeeding film, it's established already that he's a bestial, animalistic vampire. So he never had any lines in, say, Prince of Darkness. So Christopher Lee was lying by saying
lying.
Yes, that he had lines and that he circumvented them. So there you go.
That's interesting.
That's what Jimmy Sangster said.
Because he doesn't have many good lines. And one of the things I love about I Happen to Be Wearing Lugosi, Dracula.
Cool, very cool.
That I love about Lugosi. In the first Dracula film, Lugosi film, he's got more great lines in the one movie than anything that Christopher Lee says in any of his films.
Maybe we can combine our T-shirts, Joe, because we have Dungeon Lane and we can have Bela Lugosi in it because he's in a dungeon half the time. So
yeah. I mean, some of the lines that Lugosi says, he's like, "I never drink wine." He says that. Then he says, like, "Listen to them, children of the night, what music they make," and that stuff. I'm trying to think of all the ones he says. He says to Van Helsing, "For one who's not lived even a single lifetime, you are a wise man, Van Helsing." And
yes, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
Oh, it's great line.
I think one of the big flaws, I'm not knocking it too much because I do love the Hammer films, but one of the big flaws of all the Hammer Draculas is that they didn't find ways to give Christopher Lee credible dialogue all the way through, because what that did, if you remove all the speech from him, it makes him such a static character. Hardly even a character at all. And I thought, wow, that's a basic error. Well, didn't they have the imagination to, create some scenes where he actually exchanged dialogue with somebody?
Well, sometimes, according to Lee again, they just said they'd write the story first and then think we have to fit him in somehow. How are we going to fit him in?
Yeah, well, that was true partly, but that was his fault because he was playing hard to get. He raised the bar on the wages and things like that. So that was kind of partly his fault. I mean, if you look at Brides of Dracula, David Peel had quite a few lines in that.
Yeah, and in some ways, that's still maybe my favorite of the Hammer Dracula. In some ways, but I know we're doing a lot of Dracula here, folks. But I was talking before about the sequel, Taste the Blood of Dracula. That one definitely, I believe, they were not going to have Dracula there from in the beginning. They talk about that in one of those Little Shop of Horrors too, I think, where it was supposed to be Ralph Bates was going to be the new character, take over, but instead they got Christopher Lee into it. And he used to say they would get me into these movies by saying, if you don't do it, do you know all the people you're going to be putting out of work if you don't do it? He kind of made him feel guilty into saying yes. And he talked about that many times. I've heard him talk about that many times. That was, and even when I saw him in person speaking, in the show.
My painful memory of Taste the Blood of Dracula is, I think it was from the late 1980s. I was going around a film fair, and one of the dealers had it, Taste the Blood of Dracula, the 30 by 40 quad with the byline, "Drink a pint of milk a day." That's what they put on the poster on the top. And the poster looked in pristine condition, and as usual, I tried to knock the guy down. It was something like £16, and I tried to knock the dealer down, and he said he wouldn't move. He said, "No, that will go at £16." Yeah. So being a bit proud, I left it, and I did my rounds and bought whatever I bought. And when I came round the circuit again, I looked, and it was gone. And of course, when something goes, that's when you want it the most. And
Yeah.
I still kick myself today by the fact that I can't show you now Taste the Blood of Dracula in the background because I was too stupid not to buy it at £16.
Yeah. And, you know, that title, I'm sure Tim loves the title, Taste the Blood of Dracula, you know, because the character Ralph Bates is like he's like an occult guy. He likes the black arts and everything. And he purchases from Roy Kinnear, from Help. That's how we got into this. From Roy Kinnear, he purchases Dracula's remains, including his powdered blood. And he makes a liquid out of it. And Ralph Bates drinks it. And he was originally supposed to be the new vampire thing, but he turns into Christopher Lee. That's how they bring him back. That's how they brought him back for that one. Ralph Bates drinks it, and he like turns into Christopher Lee Dracula. You know.
I have such wonderful memories as a teenager of sneaking into AD 72, and then much easier the next year sneaking into Satanic Rites of Dracula. And for some reason they feel so chilly and Novemberish, partly because that was the time when we sneaked in for AD 72, and because most of the season setting in both those films feels like it's very wintry. Like even the Thornbush scene at the end feels very chilly and sort of cold.
Yeah.
Very Halloweeny.
Do you think George had much to do in Help? Oh, he didn't have any solo scene or anything in there, huh? Yeah.
Well, that's why Lennon said they were all extras in their own film.
Yeah.
None of them had much to do, really. I just used to watch it for the music, you know, use it as a like music videos.
The Wild Geese.
Is that Michael Caine?
Peter Sellers trying to rescue Ringo. Matt's idea.
Oh yeah, Matt of Pop Goes the 60s. Yeah, that was a great idea actually. Yeah, if they'd have brought Peter Sellers into that film and give him a key part, that would have made a difference, and it would have made it a bit more swinging London as well, a bit more London centric. And I'm no fan of London, but I'm just saying that at that time, that was the place to be. So anytime you wanted any electricity, any vibe in a film like that, you really wanted to clue into London as much as you can instead of.
I don't agree. I'm sorry, we disagree on this. The whole point of it is that the Beatles went globetrotting around the world, different from the first movie. So I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Nothing against London.
Yeah.
But, you know, I like that they went around and did that. I don't know.
Well, What's New Pussycat was Casino Royale. I mean, David Niven was the James Bond character, but I can't remember whether Peter Sellers was in Casino Royale. All I know is that they threw too much money and improvised along the way because the script was so incoherent in both cases.
I think he was, but I'm not sure either.
Right.
And comedy is very subjective, but I think that's one of the best, funniest movies, My Cousin Vinny. And I always, people say I want to see a comedy from, you know, recommend me a comedy from the, you know, the 90s or something. I would recommend that. I think it's really funny. Fred Gwynn is so good in it.
One of my wife's favorites, my ex-wife's favorites. She was in law school at the time. So
it's not one of yours?
No, I like it. I didn't like it as much as she did, but again, she was in law school at the time, so she, you know.
I thought Lennon looked fat in Help.
Well, that is his fat Help period.
I should talk, but I thought he did.
For John, that's his heaviest period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
American fans think the Beatles started in '64. Well, I don't know if they all think that.
Oh, that's not true.
I know when they started. I mean, I know when they started.
Oh God.
That's silly. Here we go. We're doing a lot of Beatles now. So your fault, 4D.
Okay.
What was it?
They had more money. That's why they learned them. Well, of course. Yeah. Come on, man. You know, we had a lot of England in the first one. I think as soon as they left London, the best scene was where they all went into their separate doors, their separate houses, and then inside you see it's all one massive place. Together. I love that. And then they have Dandy Nichols, who a lot of British television viewers would know from Till Death Us Do Part. She stood on the corner with another old woman, and she says, "And they're still the same as they was before they was."
Yeah,
which is kind of very typical spoonerist sort of dialogue at the time. But as soon as they left London for international waters, I think it leaked energy. I think all the energy went out of it, and instead, what you had is actors running around trying to create energy. And
I think that's when everything just started once they left home.
Yeah.
To tell you the truth,
I don't agree, but
I'm feeling like Danny for some reason at the moment.
My answer is, why would they? The only reason Yellow Submarine got made is the Beatles owed films, and if they could do a film that they don't have to do, all they have to do is come up with a few songs. Why wouldn't they? So they did. You know,
well, I've never had any problem with that either. They sound fine, you know. Paul sounds like Paul. It's better fellows.
No, they don't. They don't. The accents are really bad, and they don't sound like the Beatles.
I think the Paul one sounds like him. He doesn't have much dialogue. The Paul guy.
The reason the Beatles didn't do it is because they thought it was just going to be some sort of cheap cash-in, and they didn't realize until they saw a preview of the animation how good it was, right. And then they were okay. But it was too late then for them to sink in their dialogue, unfortunately.
I mean, even Ringo doesn't sound that bad to me when he's walking around moping about Liverpool could be a lonely place on the Saturday night.
You see, that I think that's an example where English Beatle fans will pick up on the differences in the accents.
Oh, sure. I can tell it's not their voices, sure, but I could tell it's not their voices.
But not even regionally correct, though.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that was the title of Town. That's a trivia question.
It was going to be a Western, wasn't it, at one point? It was going to be a Western.
Supposed to be a Western, yeah.
Yeah, Bob Dylan had something to do with it at one point. It got a bit crazy. Yes, that's the one. It's a Big Bright Green Pleasure Machine, the Simon and Garfunkel song in The Graduate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I imagine a lot of kids bought that soundtrack thinking they were getting, the hit Mrs. Robinson, and they weren't. They got Mrs. Robinson, but not the hit Mrs. Robinson.
And I can remember reading the Charles Webb novel when I was about 16 in 1977. And I thought, wow, this is really different to any novel, because it was nearly all dialogue. There was hardly any sort of prose narration, so to speak, in the novel. It was all almost like a script, but it wasn't a novelization. It preceded the film. And I thought, wow, this is a different way to write a novel.
We have John Moreno wanted to know if there was time. Yeah,
The Graduate.
45 minutes or so, but my plan so far. Lots of those early songs originally recorded for the Paul Simon Songbook. Oh, I remember that now.
Yeah.
London circa 65.
Yeah. And while Paul Simon was away, that's when Simon and Garfunkel got electrified.
Right.
He came back and he's got a hit, and he's like, what the hell is this?
Hello, John.
Let me go for a pee before John goes into The Graduate.
I was going to talk about that. I'll wait till 4D Man gets back.
Yeah. Let's take some more. Roy Kinnear was priceless as Moriarty's assistant in Sherlock Holmes' smarter brother. Rocco, hello. I love all Hammer Dracula films, especially that bit of him going under the ice. Was Charles Grodin originally going to be in The Graduate? I don't know that.
I hadn't heard that, but it's possible.
Listen to them, children of the night. What music they make. Creepy. Yeah, thanks. Anybody seen History of Violence?
I may have a long time ago, but it didn't impress me if I did.
I can imagine W.C. Fields with Dracula. Oh, you don't drink wine. Well, then give me that bottle.
Can I mention a fun fact about W.C. Fields?
Why not? Sure.
I read this online and I was really surprised to find out that he died here in Pasadena at this place called Encinitas Hospital. I think it's a hospital for people that have issues, drinking issues or other issues. So here he died there, which is so close to my house. And also he's buried at Forest Lawn in Glendale. And I go there once in a while because my wife's parents are there. So I'm like, wow, this guy's a neighbor in a way, in a sense, kind of a small world, as they say. I was like, wow, okay.
Tom is not here because he's got a new lady friend that he's spending his time with the last couple of Mondays. Tom works and he has limited time off. And I did make these shows originally Monday night because to accommodate Tom, just so you know.
Some ladies breaking up that old gang of mine.
Yeah.
Right. I won't. Don't worry, I won't go into it too much. But my PhD was based on that very theme, and it touched on things like Yoko Ono and the Beatles. It's an archetype that you have. You have this. It goes. You can go back to Sir Lancelot and King Arthur. You have this trusted bond between two brotherly like guys or a gang like this one right now, and then a woman comes along and smashes the whole thing apart.
Yeah.
It's an archetypal trope.
Okay.
Well, a lot of things that happen in life or in this world are nothing new, right?
Yeah.
A lot of things have happened, Yeah. A lot of our lives are similar to others' lives,
For sure, yeah.
Right? So
yeah. There's a lot of help hatred here tonight. I'm very surprised about it.
Help hatred.
Help is infinitely watchable as far as I'm concerned.
I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you like it, Joe. I don't want
many fans do. We're going to take this up on the Beatle board, the Beatle website. See how many people like it versus not.
Yeah, you will find out that Hard Day's Night is far, far more better appreciated than Help ever is.
I don't think this is. I know about the fiendish thingy part, but I think you're wrong, Eric, about the other line. You say also when they go running away in different directions. Wasn't it George who said typical? No, I think what happens is. A cage, something. I think a cage goes down or something. All the Beatles are caught in a cage except for George, who's free, and he goes, "I'm off," and he runs. Somebody goes typical. I think George ran away. I'm off. I think it was Ringo might have said typical.
I got a question about A Hard Day's Night. In the scene where they're in the studio and this guy's playing with Ringo's drums, and Ringo tells him something. Then George says to the guy, "It looms large in his legend."
Yeah.
What is the meaning of that? I don't understand.
He's very fussy about his drums. They loom larger in his legend.
Okay.
I guess it means like they're very big into his life.
I didn't quite get it. I sort of did.
Yeah, no one would know who Ringo was without his drums. Is basically what it means.
Drums were what he's all about. His legend.
Yeah, and it's an idiom of early to mid 60s English as well. So it's the same thing as when on the train when Ringo says it's my active compensatory factor.
Yeah,
there's like a send up in that kind of dialogue where it's almost meaningless.
Yeah, I think I heard this too. The Hammers might have been first. Oh, they do the London scenes first. I don't know. Maybe they did those last.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I would have figured that as well. Seems sensible to me. Because of the cheap TV shows, Beatles considered Yellow Submarine. Yeah, they wanted nothing to do with. Then they saw the animation, which I've never been wild. I'm the only one not wild about the Yellow Submarine animation. It's too crazy to me and like all weird looking. I like it a little more stable looking. But what are you gonna do? I'm alone in that one apparently. It's Henry. What's going on, Henry? I guess I'm just going to watch the whole Hammer Dracula series. I was going to quit after Taste of Blood, but Scars was good.
Well, you like Scars, don't you? Yeah, you like Scars.
I think if you just watched it, well, that's the first, maybe one of the first ones I saw. so I didn't have any. I wasn't prejudiced against it, like or anything.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And everybody's got this thing about Terrence Fisher, like he's God or something. You can't. Nobody else can direct anything except Terrence Fisher. Well, Freddie Francis, I'm perfectly happy with, and Peter Sadsdy. I can't say the names.
Yeah, Sadsdy, that's right.
Sadsdy, Alan Gibson. I don't know. Maybe.
I adore AD 72, even for all its flaws. I just adore that film.
Hey Joe. I know the answer to this. The first movie I ever went on a date to was the movie Fame, musical. That was
That's a good question.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm thinking.
For me, I think it was the Midnight Express.
Oh yeah,
remember that?
Yeah.
Oh God, that's a heavy film to be going on a date, John. Bloody hell!
God,
I enjoyed
this
the movie.
This is going to sound terrible.
There's not many laughs in that one.
No.
Mine might be Russ Meyer's Up, which is terrible to say.
You took a date to that?
It's one of the first. I don't know if it's the first, but it's the first one I can remember. And I didn't know what I was getting into, and she did. It was her idea. It wasn't mine.
Yes, I remember the blood scene in the Tingler, Vincent Price. The movie's black and white, and then they put a color scene in the middle of with a lot of blood in a vat.
Yeah.
Or tub, whatever, your bathtub, whatever.
That was a crazy idea anyway. The whole concept was crazy of that film, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's a crazy one. I got to see that at the Revival Theater where they recreated the Tinglers loose in the theater, and they had like somebody running around with the Tingler on. In the 90s, there was a place that did that.
Right.
Yeah. International House is a W.C. Fields movie. Lugosi's in it, and so a lot of people are in there. Burns and Allen are in it.
Is that good? Is that a good film then?
When they're very young, I think I remember it being pretty good. That one. And also there's somebody, Baby Rosemary, in there, who's Rosemary from the Dick Van Dyke Show, is in that. Yeah. Heard that in his later years, W.C. Fields was caught looking through a Bible, and when they asked him why, he said he was looking for loopholes. I like the Graduate poster behind 4D. It was The Sound of Silence written specifically for that film?
I don't know.
Wait a minute. Because wasn't that earlier it was released?
Yeah, it was before. It's like 65.
65. Yeah.
65 or early 66 at the latest.
It's funny how things become iconic, isn't it? Because that particular image is an iconic image, but all it consists of is half of a leg and a woman pulling her stockings up and a guy watching, looking a bit forlorn.
That's a great shot. Yeah,
it is great, but there's not much goes into it for it to be so iconic. It makes you wonder what does make an iconic image last that long.
Well, yeah. Some of that says a lot. A little bit of time and showing very little.
Right.
That's what I think is. It does make an iconic image. My favorite picture is I use it as my screenshot on my computer. There's a picture taken of Marilyn Monroe in 1955. She's she's at Union Station in New York in the underground. And the thing on it, she looks gorgeous in the picture. She's just standing in front of a pole. But off to her right is a guy like 20 feet away or something like that. And you wondered, is he recognizing her right now? And it's this guy in the picture that makes the picture, because he's just looking like, is that freaking Marilyn Monroe? And it's just this great picture,
right?
Because it's early enough in her career where everybody didn't know who she was yet, and it's this guy. It's not her that makes the picture; it's this guy.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah.
I haven't seen How I Won the War. It looks lousy to me, but I have seen the Lenin scenes mostly.
I haven't
seen it.
I've seen it. I've got it on DVD, but not Blu-ray. I think it's a really good film, but I can't remember. I wouldn't be able to remember enough this is apart from my bladder being weak, the other part of my growing old is that my memory is definitely going out the window. So I won't be able to tell you why it's a really good film. I just remember the feeling of thinking, wow, this is really good.
It's subversive. It's one of the first anti-war films, and being American, we're not going to understand a lot of what's going on where the British would. It's a film made for Britain. It's not, but it's a good film. I enjoy it. I've seen it a few times.
I'll let you know when I see it one day, which I should have already. Anyway, now Eric, I'm just tell you, I'm curious, but I pretty much bet that the typical line that was said about George, I'm almost 100% sure that something happens and George runs away and says, "I'm off," because he runs away from the situation, and somebody says typical with regard to George. George didn't say typical. I'm pretty sure about that. Like, well, you're leaving when the going gets tough while you're running away, and I'm pretty sure that the cage goes down, and it is it a Bahamas scene? Yeah, it is the Bahamas. It's and they're inside. They're checking out the ruins of something inside.
It's been too long since I saw it, and I did mean to play the Blu-ray for this program so I could authoritatively compare the film to the script. But there's some, I don't know. I've played Dungeon Lane, God knows how many times. A-side, B-side, A-side, B-side, over and over again. So I've got time for that, but somehow my mind won't give Blu-rays any time. So I don't know what's going on with me there.
No respect for the Blu-ray. Yeah, the Frank Langella film. It's funny because I saw it when I say not too long ago, I mean the last 2 years, say, and I did a video on it here on my channel. If you want to look at it, I don't really like it very much, but it has its moments. There's some creepy scenes I like in it, but I don't like what they did with the ending, and the way they ended it, and Disco Dracula, I call him. But but there was some creepy moments in it. I thought.
I can't remember it well enough.
I will not see dried mud. Well, again, I said I don't want to be wasted during a movie, but I just recently did a review of the horrible movie Fireball Jungle with Lon Chaney drinking through the whole thing, and I got drunk. And plus, the last time I remember getting really pretty good drunk in my life, and I actually had a great time because I was stewed during that. But that doesn't usually happen. I rewatched 39 Steps and Lady Vanishes this week. 4D Man would know these films well.
Yes, and they're early. Actually, they're not that early because there were early signs in the silent movies, but there were early signs that Hitchcock was really a wonderful film director. And it's just what I'm finding with this program, and sometimes it happens with Rachel, is when the chat raises something, my memory fails me each time. Like I've seen 39 Steps, God knows how many times, but in my old age, my memory is definitely letting me down quite badly.
Is that question for me?
Yeah, I think it's a good time to bring that up.
You know what? I've been trying to straighten it out. It's a mess. It's just a big mess, and it's a lot of work, and I'm trying to organize my records in the house. So that's an ongoing project. You never really catch up. But I want to show you that I got the Amoeba Records Dungeon Lane.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Different.
They had a listening party, and I didn't make the listening party, but I went after it was over, and they had plenty of copies of this. So I bought this limited edition cover art. It's, it's not all that great, but it's unique. So I bought it.
Yeah, it's unique. Yeah, it's unique. Yeah.
I actually like that one, like the sweatshirt. That looks better.
Yeah.
But this is kind of cool anyway, just to have it. So I picked this up.
Wow.
Very nice. Thanks for sharing it.
And it is a good record. I do like it. I only listened to it once. So I have to, play it again or buy the CD and play it over and over.
It is a grower. It is a grower. This is one I'm dying to get up here. A question for everyone: who was hotter, Marilyn Monroe or Sharon Tate? Can I give of course, I'm jumping in there. For me, I think that Sharon Tate was one of the most gorgeous females that ever lived. She's gorgeous. Was gorgeous. But Marilyn Monroe might have the sex appeal down, the sexiness act down a little more. But, in her attitude. What do you guys think?
Tim, that's your period.
We disagree on everything.
One of the most beautiful women that's ever lived, and you just can't take your eye. When she's in a film, you can't take your eyes off her. When she's in a scene, it doesn't matter who else is in it. You're looking at Marilyn.
Especially if there's other men in it.
It's just her.
My problem is that ditzy blondes turn me off. Intelligent women turn me on. So Marilyn Monroe, even though I know she was reading Dostoevsky and stuff like that, her whole persona just turns me right off, even though she's got all the curves and everything. Whereas at least Sharon Tate kind of suggests that she's got a mind. So I'd say Sharon Tate.
They both had a sad ending,
Yeah.
But Sharon Tate's was uglier. That was an ugly.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, you shouldn't have an opinion then, John.
Which is hotter?
Yeah, maybe you don't want to say.
You know what? It depends on which day of the week. They're both hot in their own way. Yeah, come on, they're both great.
You want both? You're greedy.
Yeah, I'll take them.
Yeah.
These days, I kind of like to have two girls at the same time. So if I fall asleep, they have each other to talk to.
With my limitations these days, I'd be dead. There'd be nothing left but my shoes and socks if I even tried that.
I would never
my
fall asleep.
limitations.
I was kidding. I was a Rodney Dangerfield joke. There's no way I would ever fall asleep.
Yep.
Unless they put a movie on, and then you would.
Yeah.
You know what? Is that question for me there?
Yeah. Your name's John, isn't it?
Yes. Okay, so I guess that's me, right? Let me see. Of course, it'd have to be Goodfellas, but
Of course, you say.
Mean Streets is awesome. It's another great movie too. But Goodfellas is a classic.
Mm.
Yeah.
I wasn't asked, but mine might surprise you. After Hours, and also King of Comedy.
Okay.
I like those better than
Taxi Driver for me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you can make a list out of his greatest.
Tim going on a date was like the movie theater scene in Taxi Driver.
Speaking of Russ Meyer, do you guys remember Kitten Natividad?
What? Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute. I'm too slow with this. Hold on.
Could you put that into words which even Caesar could understand?
I know what you said. I didn't know what you said.
Okay, so anyway,
she's
in one of his Russ Meyer's movies. I actually got her autograph because they were showing, I think it was Up, and she was there giving autographs, and I got her autograph, and the whole thing. She's since passed away.
Who was that, John? I missed that. Who did?
Her name is Kitten Natividad, and she was in one, maybe two Russ Meyer movies.
She's in a couple. She's in 2 or 3. She might have even made a later one, like one of his last movies. He kept making bad movies, and I think she's in one of those too. I
got to meet him. He shook his hand. Didn't get his autograph.
6 degrees of separation.
4D, man.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Simplicity has got something to do with what makes something iconic, and it's also true of some sentences in writing as well. There's a lot to be said for simplicity.
Right. Well, does that go back to a picture is worth 1,000 words?
Maybe it does. Yeah, maybe it does. Where you get rid of extraneous complications to distill the thing to its essence.
Okay, you know what comes to mind is that artist Edward Hopper.
Oh yeah,
very simple, plain drawings, but there's a lot of information in his paintings.
That's true. And when you start to read some of the art historians who've written about Edward Hopper, they talk about the silence in those pictures a lot.
Yeah.
Like, and there's the suggestion of a narrative, but you, the viewer, have to put it in. There's like this big space for you to put in, and there's a great sense of presence in those very still paintings, where there might be just, say, the fluttering of a curtain by the window as the only activity that's going on. Yeah. I mean, I look at it from a literary point of view, because I'm always fascinated about what makes sentences tick, what makes them work a lot. And simplicity has something to do with that often.
Right. Well, some of the most simple songs, you know, are the most beautiful, but simple is difficult. Try to write a simple song that works. You know, something that really gets people's attention, and that lasts, something that will last 50 years or more. You know, try to write a great song like that. It's difficult.
No, I haven't, James, but I'm aware of the TV series. But I mean, one of the things that occurs to me, like in terms of the Beatles, they get praised and criticized for the song "She Loves You." She loves because of the phrase "yeah." Like how much simpler can it possibly be? But I think that was the first Beatles anthem. And one of the ways that British people would be able to discern whether a song was an anthem or not was whether football fans would sing it in stadiums. They might change the lyrics to fit their team, but there's an early newsreel footage from 1963 of the Liverpool terraces at Liverpool football matches, of the whole crowd. So if there was a crowd of about, say, 50,000 people in those days in the stadium, you'd have at least 10,000 people in the terraces singing "She Loves You, yeah," over and over again. So that was one of the ways that you could test whether something was an anthem, is whether the football fans took it up as a chant. And they took up things like "Hey Jude." That got, you know, na 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 na, and then they would tag on to the end of it whichever footballer that they were supporting. So they'd have that. And even with "Give Peace a Chance," that was, for years, that was around the terraces, and they would sing, "All we are saying is give us a goal." So so a lot of the anthems you can test whether they're anthems or not by whether the football terraces sang them. I'm surprised Joe hasn't put that clip on.
Oh, which clip was it? Which one out of all of them?
There's a couple you could have put in for that. One is Cornelius, but
it's actually Caesar.
Oh, is it? See, oh yeah, Battle for
I said that too. I said it looked like a sperm splat or something like that. Viva Records logo splat. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? That's kind of true. It's not, but it's still unique. It's limited, edition. It's unique.
Yeah,
6 years ago, I would have bought it. 6 years ago.
I would guess that Tom has it, because I think Tom has them all.
Oh, he has everything. He's buying everything. How come I can't think what Rita Hayworth looks like?
The redhead, yeah, one of Orson Welles' old friends. I didn't like her much either, to be honest.
Well, that's bullshit. You know what I mean? This thing about De Niro with you, Henry. There's plenty of other unmatched. What about Meryl Streep's filmography? For example, what are you talking about?
I used to like her a lot in the late 70s, early 80s. I'd go to the cinema to see any film she was in, and then I went off her.
Good acting in Niagara.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, no, she's great in Niagara.
She was a femme fatale in that, wasn't she? Like trying to do away with Steiger, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. And
here we go. Bottle number 2. He's on bottle number 2.
Cheers. I'm on 2. This is 10.5% though.
Sparkling water.
Yeah, I got water in my green cup.
So it's interesting that 4D Man has the graduate poster behind him.
Well, it's
like
because
that.
because I remembered, John, that you were going to talk about it this week.
Right?
Yeah, I wanted. Okay, so
we got to do it now because we only got a little over 15 minutes. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So here's the Laserdisc, Criterion Laserdisc that I bought many years ago, and I really enjoyed it. You know, I watched it quite a few times. Got the DVD, of course.
Yeah.
Got some gear right there. And what's great about the Laserdisc and the DVD is it has a bonus audio, a second track of a film professor by the name of Howard Suber. And if you get the DVD or the Laserdisc too, he's a film professor from USC, I believe, or UCLA. And he really explains The Graduate so well. It's like being in film class. He will tell you about the story, of course, and the actors. He tells you about their career. He talks about the costumes. He talks about the sets. He mentions the cameras, the lenses that they use. He talks about comedy and timing. It's like being in film class, and it's highly recommended. You can get this DVD, running commentary by Howard Suber, and that I've enjoyed watching the movie and listening to him. And he's been on Turner Classic. They've shown him talking about film also. And you can, obviously, from a professor, you're going to learn a lot. So I highly recommend this if you can get it. So pick it up. But I always like the cover of this. I thought this was kind of cool. Nice look to it, you know. And the director, Mike Nichols. I do have a Nichols May LP, and I tried to find it before the show, but I just couldn't find it in my mess. But in that record, it's a comedy record, and the comedy that he does is so similar to some of the scenes in The Graduate, like when Benjamin Braddock and Mrs. Robinson are talking in the hotel room, and the lights are out, and they're just talking. So all it is conversation, and you know, it's left to your mind to see what's going on. But it's very similar to the comedy routines he does on the record, and it works. Again,
I have one of their albums.
Yeah. I couldn't find it. I have one or two of the records, and I couldn't find it. You know, it's probably from the early '60s, I think. But it's great to listen to the comedy record, and then you say, and then you watch the film. You go, the same thing. He uses the same idea. You know, again, it's just words. You don't have to see anything, and that you know, it's all that theater of the mind, where the mind takes over. You just listen to the conversation, and you know, that's all you need. So yeah.
When I first saw this, I was thinking, oh no, not Jaws again, and then I thought, you know, it is iconic, that image.
It is.
It is one of the most iconic of all the posters. You know, and I made a video the other day on my other channel, where I went to see where the boats were in the marina with the water and everything, and there was some young guy there. He had on a Jaws shirt. He was like 20 or something.
I mean, that's such a good question. I'd need about 24 hours to think about that. But next week I'll put up a Saul Bass poster behind me, because Saul Bass was an iconic designer.
Yeah, there's so many, you know, for to go with. I'll tell you one that you guys are probably all going to disagree with me, but I think an iconic movie poster was the Blues Brothers. And I'm not kidding. That shot was that was perfect. That sold you everything you need to know about that movie on that poster. I think that was just a perfect movie poster.
As for The Graduate, that film haunted me when I was about 17, 18 years old. So I bought the novel that it was based on. I saw the film on television, not at the cinema, because this would be if I was 17, it would be 1976. It was around about then. And I bought the soundtrack, and I think what I identified with as an adolescent was Dustin Hoffman's introspective alienation from society. So you know the scene where he's got to dress up in this scuba diving suit because his parents have bought him this bloody silly and so he comes out, he feels like a fool, and he goes down into the swimming pool, and all he wants to do is retreat. So he's underwater and he's in the corner of the swimming pool. I thought, my God, that's me all over that, but without the scuba gear. So I feel like a lot of adolescents who maybe feel displaced in society would identify with Dustin Hoffman's character there, because he played an introvert, very introverted man who didn't know what his place was going to be in society, because he kind of rejected the career path that was set up for him as being meaningless.
Well, there's again going back to Howard Suber. He points out these moments in the movie where there's a lot of symbolism, where when he's in that scuba gear and they're trying to come out, they're not listening to him. They say, come on, and he feels suffocated. He's suffocated in the scene, and that's the way he feels suffocated, around his family and these adults, And Howard Suber points out that that's similar to a scene from 2001 where he's also in his gear, and he's going to go, very similar scene to that, where you feel like you're
claustrophobic,
claustrophobic, There's a lot of symbolism in the movie, like when Mrs. Robinson first wants a ride home, she approaches Benjamin Braddock, and she tosses the keys to him, and he doesn't catch it. That's like the hook. That's like the hook. Now he's chasing her. Keys, another scene where the party is going on. He's upstairs in his room, and from his window, he's looking down on everybody. He just is looking down on them. It's symbolism, It's like, he feels above them. It's like,
Well, think how well that filmmaking translates, because it's a very American film, and for an Englishman to notice things like that convertible car, although it was a stick shift, the middle class values that are inherent in that film were alienating to me, because I was a working class guy. The idea of a convertible being anywhere near any of the streets around my way would be unthinkable. And a lot of the trappings of The Graduate, and even the fact that he'd been to university, was outside my realm. And yet, despite the fact that it had all these American cultural trappings, I could so identify with Dustin Hoffman. So imagine all the culture that's got to travel across the Atlantic and break from the middle classes into a working class northern region in Manchester. Right. And it still reached me to the core, which is amazing to me, I think.
Right.
Well, another piece of trivia. I love having a lot of people, but wait. Good.
Stop trying to talk, Joe, on your own show.
I don't know how to talk.
I wanted to mention that. Speaking of that sports car, the Alfa Romeo that he's driving, after the movie, that car became so popular, they renamed that Alfa Romeo Graduate. They attached a little plaque to it. It was known as Graduate. So the movie made the car popular.
Oh, how I fantasized having a car like that when I saw The Graduate.
You know what? And there's this. It's such a great movie. I like how when he's trying to make the wedding, Elaine's wedding, right? And he's speeding along. Yeah. And eventually he runs out of gas, right? And he has to start running. The guitar that's playing along, that it slows
also runs
down.
out of gas. Yeah,
this is running out of gas. The guitar is like sounds like him running out of gas.
Yeah,
it's just so well done.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it now. I want to get my 2 cents in.
Okay, Joe. Okay,
chance, guys. This is what 4D was saying. There's a guy. It's a critic. New York, I think, critic Jeffrey Lyons, I think it was. I don't know how many people know him, but I remember him. The discussion was like, what's your favorite film? And he said The Graduate. And he said because it spoke to him so deeply at a time in his life where he was in the same exact position that Benjamin Braddock was. And he related to that character so much. That's his favorite film of all time, because it hit him right between the eyes, exactly what he was experiencing.
Yeah. But I didn't have any qualifications. I was nowhere in the running to even go to college, rather than, forget about university. So it's amazing how that film transcended a lot of boundaries to get to me in such a way that I related to it in 1970, whatever it was, 76, 77.
Here's a question. How many times does he say Elaine at the church?
Elaine.
How many times? I didn't count.
Do you remember what Dustin Hoffman said? Do you remember what Dustin Hoffman said about that scene when he was shaking the thing? There's some of these DVDs, they have interviews with Dustin Hoffman, and they didn't want him to break that glass, like the church or whatever. Don't damage this, if you're gonna. So he had to go. So he says you mean. So he just goes like gently, he's pressing on it like that, or what? He's not going like this or anything. So he says, "You mean to tell me I've driven all this way? I run up to there, then I get there, and all I do is go." Like that, gently. He thought it was like not appropriate.
Can I just amend my answer, John, before you tell us? I'm saying 9 times. 9 times.
I think it's more than that.
More than 9 times. Okay.
Did you Google it? We got to Google it.
No, I would never do that. It's a genuine guess on my part.
I'll have to watch it again and count. How about the scene where at the church where him and Elaine are running from the group and through the church, and he grabs the cross. Grabs the cross, and he's white.
That's almost a Dracula ending.
Now that is a piece of symbolism right there, right?
Yeah.
I got to tell you something, Jeff, Record Rabbit. I almost had a heart attack for a second here because I thought it was dollars. I know it's yen. I don't know what that is. 5,000 yen. But thank you.
Yeah.
It's,
and Richard Dreyfuss hasn't he got a cameo in that?
Yes.
Where he wants to call the cops.
Cops. Should call the cops?
Yeah. Yes, he does. But then, again, see it with the running commentary with the film. What's his name? I forgot his name now. The professor. So he points out so many scenes that just the way they film it. Like the scene where Benjamin Braddock, everything's going fine. He talked to Elaine. He comes back into his room, and Mr. Robinson is waiting there.
Oh, yeah.
And he's sitting in a chair, and next to Mr. Robinson is a window, and it's raining. It's dark. That is showing you now things are dark. It's gone from really good. Now it's bad. And that just the look on that window, like things are bad weather, things are dark now.
And don't forget who Mr. Robinson is in the movie. Murray Hamilton.
Yeah, from Jaws. So there's 2 Jaws actors in it then.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I guess you could say that.
Okay.
It was in a lot of stuff.
I have to tell you, I only saw Midnight Cowboy once, and I don't remember. It didn't do it. I didn't care for it.
I like Midnight Cowboy. That's my other favorite because Dustin Hoffman goes from a 360. He does the 380, 180, 360, whatever. Completely different character, and he nails it. He nails it. I think Midnight Cowboy is a classic.
Yeah, I think
for everybody. It's not for everybody because there's some overtones or undertones in that, But it's just so well done. It's a great story.
That's pretty.
It's sad.
What do you mean? What do you? This is great. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really good. So I think Dustin Hoffman's performance in Midnight Cowboy was better. No, but he's perfect in The Graduate. But he really pulls out the stops in Midnight Cowboy. That's an amazing performance, and the fact that so much of it feels like it's shot on New York makes it feel to me like the start of the American New Wave, the independent cinema.
Right.
Even though it might have been funded by United Artists, but in terms of feel good, although it's kind of sad that it's The Graduate for me, it's got so much. It just takes me back to my teenage years immediately. And keeps me there for the duration of the film, The Graduate.
Well, I think in The Graduate, he's known as an anti-hero.
Yeah,
he's an anti-hero. He's not, he's not your typical hero.
And he's an anti-hero because he rejects the career path that his degree has bought him. Like he's questioning his values and his parents' values and the community's values around him.
Yeah.
which I was doing as well, but without the degree.
Another great scene in The Graduate is where he jumps out. No, I think he jumps out of the pool, but then he lands in the bedroom.
Oh yeah, the editing.
Yeah, that's a good shot.
That is a great scene. You know, it's just the editing was great.
Brilliant.
It was like he was going to jump on the raft in the pool, I think, maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
He's in the pool, but they go straight to the bedroom scene with him.
That's very good.
Yeah, and that was all part of the transition for April Comes She Will, the actual soundtrack.
Yeah.
You know, there's scenes where you don't need dialogue. All you need is some music and no dialogue, and it works.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Would you say that movie? Very rarely do I use that old term dated. You know, because the only time I feel a film is dated, really, so to speak, is if it's a science fiction film and they say, "Oh, this film takes place in 1975. It's the future or something," and it doesn't work anymore. You know, because it's 1975. It's gone. But it's very 60s, that movie, but that's okay with me. I watch a movie like that, and I tell myself, whatever the year is, I say, this movie takes place in this. So it came out in 68, probably was, right? Or 67? 67. So it's like, okay, this is 1967. This is a story set 1967. But still, a lot of the things he's trying to cope with, anybody could relate to if you're that age, right?
I don't feel qualified to say what's dated because I never leave the house, and because I've kind of alienated myself from society because it's not the way it was 50 years ago. So I'm dated. So how can I pronounce judgment on what?
That's true. I like this. Kimber says The Graduate portrays narcissistic parenting too. It is like.
Oh, here's another point about The Graduate. It's the 1960s, 1967. So in the United States at that time, there was a lot of protests against the Vietnam War, but there's no mention of that. But Norman Fell, when he's showing him the room that he wants to rent in the dormitory, he goes, "You're not one of those outside agitators, are you?"
Yeah, that's right.
What is that? A protester? I don't. Right? Is that what it is? But
he calls
him outside. That can go today too.
An agitator was the term that people like Nixon. I know it was before Nixon became president in 1967, but people like Nixon would call agitators people who were of a left-wing orientation which infiltrated demonstrations to make them turn violent. So they would condemn a protest by saying it was either organized or infiltrated by left-wing agitators. So that's what that means.
Right. But I think he's referring to protesters, right? I think
that's right. Yeah.
Because that was a big deal in 1967. That was, that was a national problem we had.
So an agitator would be like let's say there was a peace demonstration. An agitator would be somebody who went in there, infiltrated as a peace demonstrator in order to mix it up and stir up trouble because they were anti-American, not because they were for peace. That's what an agitator would be.
Okay. Yeah.
Well,
there's so many interesting scenes where Benjamin Braddock, he walks from the pool into the house. His parents are eating in the kitchen. He walks past them. He walks into a room, I think living room. It's a warm day, yet in that room there's a fireplace burning. Why would they have a fireplace going when it's a warm day in Southern California? Right? I think it's Southern California, but maybe he needs some warmth in his own soul or in himself to keep, he's not feeling warm or comfortable. So he needs the fire to make him feel better, I think. So they point that out,
And it's kind of there's some really funny stuff, like when he announces that he's going to get married, and his parents are like, "Whoa!" They're cheering, and he's saying, "You might want to hold off on that." What she doesn't know? You haven't told her yet? No. She doesn't want to. She doesn't want to get married. She doesn't really like me.
They really kind of tell him what to do.
The father says. The father says, "This whole thing sounds completely unbaked. This is half baked." And Benjamin Braddock goes, "No, it's completely baked." But when he announces the wedding, the mother just screams, "Ah!" she's so happy, you know.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what you want, you know. But after that scene, the final thing, the toast comes out of the toaster, and they just look,
yeah,
you know?
great punctuation. Yeah, yeah,
exactly. You know,
yeah.
Guys, I hate to end this party, but I have to because I gotta go. This from the beginning. I said
You never
7:30.
take us with you, Joe. You never take us with you.
Yeah, and it's a it's a lot of times lately. It seems like we're getting into in-depth discussion or something, and like I hate to pull the plug, but
don't it always seem to go?
I haven't even finished this yet.
So there we are. I appreciate it, guys. We take it up again next time. So thanks everybody. Much
Cheers.
appreciated.
It was fun. Thank you.
Thank you, John, 4D Man, Tim, everybody in the Peanut Gallery. Some people don't like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the Graduate. We've been talking about the Graduate, Hammer, and Help. A lot. All right, everybody. Talk soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.